Welcome to the Daily Insider here on Vegas Insider. I am Kevin Rogers as we take you through today, Monday, May 9th, 2022. Very busy weekend recap. And also, you have two NBA games tonight, four NHL games in the Stanley Cup playoffs, a lot of baseball. So we'll go over basically everything because Dave Sharapan is waiting in the wings and want to talk to him about everything because it's Monday. So let's just do it. Dave Sharapan, Sportsbook Consig on Twitter. Hello, Dave.
Hi, Kev. What's up? How are you?
Good. I guess we'll begin with the horsies. And okay, first before we get to the big upset at the Kentucky Derby, Rich Strike 80-1. What's the handle? What's the deal with the Kentucky Derby, the first race of the Triple Crown? I know a lot of favorites. People want to jump on those. Rich Strike didn't even come into the field until Friday. It was one of the alternate horses, and now this horse is making these waves, wins at 80-1.
It's unbelievable. I just got word that this was the biggest Kentucky Derby handle ever. This was a monster race at a time when I guess people have money, and it's always a monster day in the book as far as action and buzz and people, because everybody has an opinion. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is Let It Ride. And, being at the track is its own thing. And you get to bring the track into the book more than the book. It's the only day where pretty much racing is on all the screens except one or two. And usually, it's off usually on the corner, or it's a separate area of the book, the race book. So it's fun. And I mean, it was exceptionally fun for me. I've never had one of these situations happen before for myself. I had Animal Kingdom a few years ago. He was 20-1. A guy came in and said he was really confident in betting it. That's one of my all-time story time from the books. But this weekend, this Saturday, Rich Strike winning, it's going to be forever in my memory banks and definitely part of the book that I write soon.
What would you compare that to? Rich Strike winning the Kentucky Derby. What would you compare that to in a team sport?
Man, oh man. I mean, he was 80-1 odds wise. I can't think of too many things that are 80-1 in the sports book that actually cash. Boy, I have to think about that, Kev, because it was such a like out of nowhere thing. Like you said, he wasn't even in the race until Friday. And then, I mean, I hit the try. I still can't believe that I hit the try. So I know no one, when a 20-1 shot wins or a 50-1 shot. Who was that horse? I believe it was an Italian name. Giacomo. I think Giacomo was like 50-1 or something. I was in a book when nobody came to the counter to cash. Nobody had the race. Like, it's a big build up the whole day. Everybody comes up and bets. You get the fancy hats and you get everybody learning how to do it right at the window, causing lines, the whole thing. And then nobody comes up to the window to cash. The guy was so stunned when I handed him my ticket. He's like, "You hit the try?" I said, "Yeah, I got lucky. I hit the all button on top." He didn't even know what it meant because he was a sports guy. All the race people went home. They sent them all home by 6 o'clock because there was nothing to do. Everybody left. So, yeah, it was a monster win for the house and for the books that we're booking anything. Nobody had Rich Strike in anything.
Well, the other one too, Dave, I guess, I posed the question, but it's hard to answer because in these other sports, teams are playing a season and they're going through it. Even if it's St. Peter's in the NCAA tournament, you still have to win a few games. This is one game, in a sense, one event that you have to win. So it is kind of like anybody can do it, as opposed to a tournament where you got to win 6 games. The playoffs, you got to win 16 games. Like, I remember years ago, I want to go back to this for a second. I know this is totally off topic, but when the Golden Knights first came into the league, they were like 500-1 or something. It was something ridiculous. A lot of people bet on them to win the Stanley Cup, and they got to the Stanley Cup. How much of a sweat was that, saying, "Oh my God, this team is going to end up winning the Stanley Cup in its first year"?
Well, that one was Nobody gave him a chance to even make the playoffs. So they were 500 to 1 to win the Stanley Cup to start. And a lot of people were buying them as souvenir tickets in town. I mean, I had friends that were buying them, and I was laughing at them. Like, what are you buying it for? Oh, I'm going to keep it, for a keepsake. And then they started the season. They started winning. It immediately went to 300 to 1, 250 to 1, then 100 to 1. And then it became apparent that they were going to make the playoffs. And Raj, that sweat was real in the book, were to the point where people were going to lose their jobs if Vegas won. If Vegas won the cup, there were guys people worried about getting fired, because how can you explain losing so much money on the Stanley Cup on a team to somebody who doesn't understand the business? So the odds were wrong. That was a big sweat. That was one. But I mean, like on an individual level, like St. Peter's beating Kentucky in the first game, that was a pretty gigantic upset, and that beat a lot of people. The thing about the horses that makes it different is that you're betting on the horse and really not against other horses. I mean, you are essentially, but in a sports, you're betting against the other team. And so a lot of people have the favorite in that. In a 21 or 20 race or 20 horse field, everybody has something. Like, there's literally somebody has this exacta, they need to come in this order, this and that. Whereas in a game, you're just taking like point spread or money line or something. It's more head to head.
Right. And that's what I would say about like NASCAR, that the one good thing about it is you only have one race for that week. The bad thing is you're facing 3,500 drivers. So you got like a whole big field to go against. Now, I want to go over to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and your boy Louis Domingue, is he going to take control and get another win tonight for the Penguins?
So when he came into the game, Sean McDonough had one of the lines of the whole playoffs when he said, this could be the start of Domingue dynasty if he wins this game. And then Louis comes in, it wins the game, and afterward tells everybody he had spicy pork and broccoli, not the best. I've been saying not the best to everything for a week. He delivered the line perfectly, and he sounded like the French-Canadian goalie in the movie Slapshot. I think he can. Like, now that he's playing, he seems so cool. I mean, I thought this was going to be a dead under series as far as the games themselves. All three games have gone over. It's been absolutely wrong about that. But tonight, you get Igor coming back after getting pulled. The Rangers on the road. Short. I mean, is it a dog now? Is it a favorite? No, they've actually moved to the favorite. That's the right move. I like the Rangers tonight. This series is going 7, I think. It's going to be hard for the Penguins to win it, but man, I hope they do, because there is nothing like a Stanley Cup run for a team and a city and an organization, let alone somebody that might have a future on them.
Well, how did that feel when the Pens went up 4-1 and then the Rangers stormed back with 3 straight? So great, here we go now.
So Saturday, I'm at the softball fields all day. I'm not paying any attention to anything, except I'm worried about the race. I want to see the race. So I watched the race in the press box at the kids' college. I said, I think I got the try. Get in the car with the wife. I'm like, let's go. Drive faster. She don't believe that I even have the ticket. So we're driving home, and I'm keeping an eye on the Penguin game on the phone. And I'm like, oh, good. We're up 4-1. That's good. Penguins are going to win. And I get home, and it's 4-4. I'm like, what just happened? So I rewound it, watched what happened. And then, I'm obviously going to cash the ticket because I got the try. I said, let's watch the rest of the Penguin game, and then we'll go to the casino and pick up the money. And that was fun. I'm not going to lie. That was fun. Watching the Penguins win that game was fun. I bet them in game, so that was good. And then we went and picked up the envelope. I mean, it was a fantastic day on Saturday.
I got to believe Shesterkin plays better after giving up the 4 goals. And I mean, he had that game one. He made 79 saves. I mean,
I think the game's going to go under tonight. I really do, because of that. He is that type of guy. He's been the best goalie all season as far as, I mean, he's going to win the Vezina. I I think tonight you get his best game. I think you get the Rangers' best game, and I think they win. I think they win and make the series even. Wouldn't be surprised by that in the least. But we'll know early. Kevin, these NHL playoffs with these overs and these penalties and all these power plays and then pulling a goalie with 5 minutes to go. Like it's nothing. It's a 1-goal game and they're pulling a goalie. Betting under is treacherous in the NHL right now.
What do you make of all the puck lines now? It's 19 of 20 that we've seen puck line winners the last 4-5 days, I guess. We've seen one goal game.
It is unbelievable. It's never been like that as far as I can remember. I used to take the puck lines blindly and lay the juice because there were so many 1-goal games. And then you can kind of now with the in game, you could hedge. If you had a 1-goal game, you could play the money line of the other team and then, try to middle it. It was great. Now, completely different. I mean, laying a puck and a half used to be an absolute monster for the books. We used to let people take plus 320, plus 260. That's too juicy. I have to take that. Final score 3-2, 4-3, 2-1, all 1-goal games. You got to learn to adapt in a book. Laying the puck line is not a bad bet, at least so far in these playoffs. Maybe then when we get to the next round, it'll tighten up. But the pulling the goalie so early has changed everything.
Well, also, we've seen, one overtime game? I mean, the 3 overtime game with the Penguins and Rangers, but that's it. We're seeing a lot. That Tampa Bay-Toronto series is ridiculous. It's all blowout so far, the first 4 games.
Trying to get a handle on that series other than, pretty much – well, no, because there was a couple shutouts that were unders. I was going to say bet overs. But, yeah, do you ever remember it being such drastic swings from game to game? Like – the Dallas-Calgary series is playing like a playoff series, right? It's just that tight. Space is hard to find on the ice. That's the series that reminds me of the way playoff hockey used to be and you could count on, right? Like none of these other series are playing like that.
This one, Panthers-Capitals. That's the first, that and the Rangers-Penguins first game tonight, but so the Capitals win game 1, 4-2. Panthers blow them out in game 2. Or game 1, Capitals win. Game 2, Panthers blow them out 5-1. On Saturday, Jonathan Huberdeau scores early. They don't score a goal the final 57 minutes. The goalie that came in, Dave, into game 2 in the third period, Samsonov, he plays game 3. He's like the second coming of Olaf Kolzig in there. And then all of a sudden now the Panthers lose the game by 5 goals. I can't explain it.
Can't explain it. And I mean, you used to get on the goalie's back and ride all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. And now you got teams like the Caps are changing goalies, switching. I mean, I can't name who the goalie is for Carolina. I only know Louis Domingue because, he's a Penguin. I can't believe what goes on right now, even with the goalies. Like, it's just not – I'm trying to adapt. I mean, they switch goalies like in a St. Louis, Minnesota series already once or twice. I don't know, Kev. This is a tough one tonight. I mean, the Capitals look like the better team for a lot of the play. At least, the times I've watched it. If you're not getting the power plays, some of these teams, like you have to win even strength to win the Stanley Cup. I think. I don't know if you have to have the better goalie. You always had to have the better goalie to win a Stanley Cup in the NHL playoffs. Now, I mean, how is Florida such a big favorite on the road today? I don't know. I don't see it.
Well, also the Panthers, I believe, are 0 for 9 on the power play in this series. So that's not
they haven't scored on the power play?
Well, they had on Saturday. This is the problem, Dave. In the 2 losses in game 1, Jonathan Huberdeau, when it was 2-1, had a shot in front and either he passed it off or he missed. It was something right in front he could have scored on. Then the Ovechkin takeaway happened. Capitals scored on the breakaway to tie it at 2, and they eventually won. So that was a big shift. And then in game 3, it was 1-1. Barkov had a shot right in front. He got denied. Capitals went down, scored on a rebound 2-1. All of a sudden, then the floodgates opened. So it was, again, it's those opportunities. You don't take advantage of them. Capitals have taken advantage of those opportunities. That's why they're up 2-1.
You think the Capitals could win this series?
Sure. I mean, listen, this is the way I look at it, Dave. Panthers win tonight, and they got a good shot because they got 2 of 3 at home. Best of 3 after this. They lose. Can they win 3 straight? Sure, but I don't have faith in that.
I wouldn't bury him yet, but I think if they win tonight, they're winning the series for sure.
Yeah.
If they lose tonight, I'm not saying they're not done because they win game 5 handily, and then they just got to win a road game, and they can win a road game
on the road.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't know. I mean, I know the one thing, like Colorado's definitely beating Nashville. That one's done. That was a valiant effort in game 2, but Colorado's just way better than Nashville. I don't know who's beating Colorado in the West yet. I really don't.
I want to ask you this question now that you're wearing the gear.
Yes.
What did you make, at least going back to Friday night, with the Joel Embiid situation in which he was out, then doubtful, then probable, and he played? I had this feeling, again, I know nothing, but I had this feeling he would play on Friday when they said he was out of the protocol because the guy's got a broken thumb. They're done. The Sixers are done if he doesn't play game 3. He played. Obviously, now the series is turned around. But what do you make of that from an odds-making standpoint when you think, all right, is this guy going to play? He's supposed to not play, and then he ends up playing that day.
I think so. It's so funny because it's another reason why I'm glad I'm not in the room and have to, live and die with taking the bets, because you get into these debates like, we have to make the price in case he plays, but what if he doesn't? Well, then so what? They're going to lose anyway. What if he does? And then, we get steamed, all one side. So I saw the line move. I mean, I listened to the post game on the after game too, and I'm like, he's playing. They're all playing like they didn't talk to him. He can't look at his phone, all this stuff. I immediately said he's playing. And if he plays, I think they win. So I had the Sixers in game 3 before the move came. And then I was like, okay, he's playing. This is great. Watch the game. They win. So the same line for game 4, I guess it makes sense. But like the Sixers again, I think they win the series now. I really do. I really think that the Sixers win the series. Whatever. I'm not that impressed with the Heat. I just haven't been for a while. They're great defensively. They go through stretches like, I can't back teams that just go through droughts of scoring, and the Heat are one of them. I just don't know. I mean, Jimmy Buckets is great, and you give him the ball, I guess, when you need a basket, but I feel like Embiid being healthy obviously puts the Sixers back to where they were. And I think they can win. I mean, I don't know if they can win game 5. They don't have to win game 5, but I think they can win a game 7. And, the line without Embiid in Miami was 8.5. You look at the game Tuesday, it's 3. That tells me that's a pick 'em game almost.
And if James Harden is anything like the old James Harden, now you have the 2 best players on the court with Harden and Embiid.
Yeah, I'm hesitant on Harden still. When things are going right, he's great. Little adversity. He made a lot of shots yesterday. He self-admitted that after the game in the post game. He said, "What was the difference? I made shots tonight." That's awesome. That's James, make shots again. If you make shots and you get them going, the Sixers are going to be very tough to beat. These games, though, I mean, like the totals finally went over yesterday.
Yep.
I think the game's got to play to the under down in Miami.
Now let's look at tonight's action, Dave. And
Whew.
this one, I like Milwaukee, even
For
though
you?
I like Milwaukee. Well, I think it's 13-2 now. The last two postseasons at home, the two losses coming to the Bulls in Game 2 as 10.5-point favorites, in Game 1 against Atlanta in the Eastern Conference Finals. There's a different team. I mean, I know everyone's a different team at home. I get that, but Boston, I feel like he's getting too much respect here. Am I nuts on that?
No, I mean, it's a 1 point pick 'em game, whatever it is. I like the Celtics, though. I think the series is going 7. I think it's just a back and forth. And Milwaukee won in Boston. Boston wins in Milwaukee. We go back to Boston, tied, 2-2. So, but can Milwaukee win? Yes. If Milwaukee wins, I think this series is over. Over if Milwaukee wins. That's how big the game is. Milwaukee's really good too. I think the winner of this series, Kevin, wins the East. I don't think Miami or Philadelphia is beating them. And I mean, if Miami wins, they have home court. So I'll be looking to play the winner of this series against the Heat, if that's the case, and definitely against the Sixers.
Well, also too, Dave, when you look at what Boston's done offensively, 33% in Game 1 from the floor, 37%, I believe, in Game 3. Tatum did nothing offensively. I mean, they still lost by 2. Game 2, they hit 23s. I know it's the whole make or miss league situation, but man, when Boston's good, they're good. But when they've been bad, they can't score.
Correct. And I think that's been one of the biggest adjustments I've made when I'm betting games in game, is watching that, because you used to look to take the dog, like, you grab Boston like at some point tonight +8. Well, now they're not covering that. They're not good for time. And then they just like, okay, we're done. And they just can't make shots. And it really is a make or miss league. And whereas that is different too. You used to go to the foul line, you'd miss 3 possessions in a row, take it to the hoop, get fouled, get us a couple points, slow down the run. No, just keep chucking threes. If you don't make it, the other team, the runs are incredible. 12-0 run, 15-0 run, 17-2 runs. You see these back and forth. I mean, it was always said, like, everybody goes on a run. You see in the NBA now every night, even in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's really tough, and it'll be a good game tonight. I mean, this one later is so interesting because I watched the replay of the Ja Morant play at half court where Jordan Poole was going for the ball, and then he kind of grabbed his leg. I don't want to say intentional, but I don't think it was a basketball play necessarily, because the first time he goes for the ball, the second time he's kind of grabbing his leg. I know he did it a little bit. What did you make of that, at least to start?
I don't think it was dirty. I think it was just a guy grabbing another guy. Like, it just, happens all the time in hockey, happens all the time in basketball. If you watch a game in person at a basketball game, there's so much grabbing and contact and stuff like that. So I don't think it was dirty. It was just unfortunate. But I mean, it's not like the Sixers without Embiid. They can't win. But the line is reflected that Memphis can't win. I mean, it jumped up from, close 7.5. Game 3, it's 10.5 now. Memphis was 20-3 during the regular season without Ja. So they know how to play without him. They did it a lot. So it seems like too much to me. I just selfishly, I said, as a basketball fan, I want to see this series. I want to see 7 games. The games in Memphis were just electric. The game in Game 3 wasn't so much. That's fine. That happens in these series. But pre-game, 10.5 is too many points.
Well, also, too, like you mentioned, Memphis played well without him in the lineup this year. So you wonder, will people go to that and say, wow, it's a lot of points that they could win without him? Or, man, playing at Chase Center, it's tough. Golden State, we saw, ran them out on Saturday. 2 of 3 wins against Denver in the first round. They ran out the Nuggets. So I mean, this is for me, it's a stay away from game because I
Yeah.
could see both sides. I could see the side of taking Memphis. Maybe they're underrating them without Morant, but also the other side that Golden State could just run them out.
Yep. That's very well could happen. And I think you learn so much, doing this and like looking to make plays. There's times where there's no play. You look at a game and it becomes a stay away where the line got you. You don't know what to do. I had a guy in the book used to all the time. He'd say pause, and that meant pause. I mean, he did it all the time. And while we were talking, it was funny, but this line gives you pause. I don't know whether to take it or lay it. I'm going to pass. Even the total's a good number, 223. I think anything in that 220 to 225 range in this game could be way under, could be way over. So, got another good number.
Even though we didn't hit on, I want to hit on it with you quickly tomorrow. Mavs and Suns, or at least looking back. I don't want to say this is a repeat of the NBA Finals last year, Dave, but Phoenix cruised past Milwaukee twice. All right, Suns are going to win the championship, and then they lose the two in Milwaukee. All of a sudden, now it's a new series. Does this feel the same way? Suns win the first two. They're back. They'll be in the Western Conference Finals. All of a sudden, Dallas goes home. They win two. They get some nice supporting role performances from others besides Luka. That now, do you think Dallas has a shot in this series?
Oh, Dallas, I thought had a shot in the series before the series even started. No question, they're live. They ain't making 23s again or whatever they did yesterday. They were just that was incredible. And what a performance. And I mean, Luka being back has made them legitimate contenders to win the West. Him being back and being back full 100%, they can beat Phoenix. They can beat the winner of the Golden State Memphis series. They can go to the NBA Finals as constructed right now. Do I think they will? I think they're dangerous. I think they're dangerous to beat the Suns, and then we'll go from there. They ain't winning Game 5, though. I see that line 6, and I'm thinking, they're not winning Game 5. Chris Paul doesn't get into foul trouble again unless Scott Foster goes there to do the game. Then he's in trouble, and then the Suns are in trouble. But I think the Suns will win Game 5. I think the Mavericks will win Game 6. This might be that Homer series. We used to call that a Homer series all the time in hockey when the home team wins every game. Might be that easy.
What do you make of, as an odds maker, the referee stat situation? Like, the outlier, the Scott Foster, whatever Chris Paul's record is when he officiates a game. I think tonight the Celtics Bucks, there's one of the officials, and there's a horrible record for Boston. Is there anything you make of that? Is it all coincidence? My view is this. I think a lot of it's coincidence, but also, why does the NBA put Scott Foster on a Chris Paul game? Like, why even do that when you know it's going to be a controversy?
I've been asking the same question for years. Like, how does he keep getting this assignment? That is really strange. And it just leads you to that conversation that I don't think anybody really wants to have, but it presents itself pretty easily. I can tell you this, in the room, it's not really that important, but it maybe should be because people bet it. When I was in the books, people would listen to that or hear that and blindly bet it based on that. Now, when it keeps winning, they keep doing it. So should it maybe affect the number a little bit? It depends. If you're in the book and you can move it, I would. I mean, just to give them laying it or taking it the worst of the number, because if you know what people are going to bet, forget about knowing the result. If you know what they're going to bet as the book, that's a good thing. You can just kind of shade your number and be on a position that you want with them at the worst price. But if you're betting, do you think people overvalue that in their opinion when they're betting it?
I think they do, because they want to say, oh, look at this. Chris Paul or his teams are 0-17 ATS when Scott Foster officiates, so he must lose again or not cover when that's the case. But I think a lot from an officiating standpoint is coincidence, because Scott Foster's not the only official out there.
Yes. Thank you. I couldn't agree more. I say it all the time. I'm like, man, you can spin these narratives and these numbers any way you want and with any reason that you want, but it is strange how it keeps happening, Kev.
Now, I want to go shift to baseball for a second. The nobody knows shit thing with you.
Yes.
That shined this weekend. That was like top of the mountain. I had the Marlins on Sunday against the Padres. I watched the end of that game. They're up 2-0, strikeout out of the gate. Got this freaking, what's the guy? Jorge Alfaro. And I looked at him. I said, that guy was with the Marlins. The pitching coach of the Marlins comes out, does this whole thing. He does this, covers his mouth,
Always
Basically what he's saying is, get the final out. Get one more out. They have 2 runners on. Guy throws a freaking meatball. He hits the ball to Tijuana.
It's so bad. Those losses feel like 2. Every time you get one of those, and you're just like, did that really just happen? And you try not to carry that over to the next day. And that's one of the best things. I know, right? As a bettor, it's very hard. But I know with the kids and coaching, that's helped me so much. Literally, when that game ends like that, it's like on to the next game, on to the next page. So it is tough, though, in the book. And again, it just goes to show you. I mean, you have it nailed. You have it right. You're 1 out away, and then you lose. I mean, think about all the people that had the Derby. They had the 3 and the 10. They had it nailed. Those 2 horses came down the stretch, and we're going to trade a battle to the wire. And it's coming 3-10 or 10-3. And then some horse named Rich Strike out of Youngstown, Ohio, whatever this guy's from. He's been running at Mahoning Valley. Like, Mahoning Valley is like a track you show in the book once or twice a week. And this guy wins the Derby. Nobody knows shit.
Okay, definitely. Another one. I have 3 more baseball ones quickly. I didn't realize until I saw this morning the Angels come back against the Nationals. There's another knife in the heart. Up 4-2 in the 9th, and Ohtani hits the ball off the wall, and Rendon burns his old team. That's a killer. Also, 2 totals over the weekend. A's Twins, 7 total, Dave, on Sunday. Minnesota led 4-3 after the 3rd. Final score 4-3. That's a killer. And excuse me, your Pittsburgh Pirates had the second string catcher get thrown out on Saturday. So they had a second baseman playing catcher.
Didn't work out too good.
2-2 game in the 8th, 8.5 total. Cincinnati scores 7 in the 8th and wins it 9-2.
I saw that one. It's funny. I've become like the gambling Twitter person for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Everybody tags me, DMs me, tweets me like, did you see this? I'm like, man, can you do it when they do something good too? Why do you only do it when they do something bad or something bad happens? That was a bad loss. The worst one, Kevin, is the 4-3 of the 3rd, needing over 7.5, because it's a slow, painful poke.
Give me one. Give me one.
How do you not score again? In the 3rd, you got all the way to the 9th, and you don't get another run. Those are the ones that sting the most for me. I mean, the end of the game, randomness, I mean, I've learned to live with those. It's that one where you have it nailed, right? I'm going over 7.5. It's 4-3 in the 3rd. We're cruising. The in-game total's 12.5. No problem. We'll go under that. All right, so now you got a nice middle. Wait a second. What's happening? Now it's 4-3 in the 6th. And when you get through the 5th and the 6th, the 5th and the 6th inning of baseball games are the innings that the most runs are scored over a season. So if you got needing one run before the 5th or the 6th, I mean, that'd be one of those where I'm like, good, we're good. That's good. We're good. We're going to score in the 5th or 6th. And then you don't score in the 5th or 6th, that's when I get concerned. 7th, click refresh, watch. 1, 2, 3. Those are the ones that leave a mark for me. I still get aggravated. I still get like, did that really just happen? Then I go back and look at the box score, and you figure like there's 3 half innings where the guy throws 7 pitches. one pitch pop up, one pitch ground out, two pitches deep, ground out, done. What? I mean, they thought everybody strikes out or hits home runs. Nobody did anything. It's crazy.
Well, and here's the other one too, is that I've noticed, at least this year, kind of going on the opposite trend since they played to a 1-0 game on Saturday. A few times you've seen the 1-0 game, and same series. The next day you get the over. Next day you get the bats waking up.
Right.
I took Oakland. I didn't take the over. I took Oakland on Sunday, and they took a 3-1 lead, thinking, okay, all right, they're going to end their losing streak. Minnesota came back and took the lead. Oakland had runners at second and third in the ninth, fly out to end the game, so they could have tied it there too. But I thought to myself at 4-3, Dave, I'm like, should have taken the over. I don't know why I didn't listen to myself. I took Oakland instead. In the end, didn't matter. Didn't make a difference.
Listen, it's only May. It's only May 9th. Like, this is a grind. Baseball.
No. It's terrible. I was doing so well, and I went on such a horrible run. Like, I can't get anything right.
This is baseball betting, though. It's gonna turn. You go through this bad stretch, a week or two, you fight through it, and then you get less NBA games, less hockey games, and you get into baseball. And then what most people do, you get to mid-June and you're done. That's it. I'm done with baseball. I'm done. I've had enough. The aggravation. And then the NBA Finals ends, the Stanley Cup ends, and you're looking around going, when's football start? I'm back into baseball. And they come back in July. All-Star break, whatever, brings everybody back. And then August, and we got schedule release on. Do you ever remember the schedule release being such a big deal? Like, the schedule release for the NFL is on Thursday, and people are talking about season wins today. They're talking about this. Kevin, seriously, these people, they're crazy, right?
Yes, they've already released 2 more games for week 2. I think Titans, Bills, and Vikings, Eagles. One is at 7:30 Eastern, one's at 8:15 Eastern. So it's the ESPN ABC thing. So now people are complaining on social media saying, oh my God, there's 2 games on at once. And somebody said, well, that's every Sunday. There's more than 2 games on at once. So you should figure it out. And they're on, you get them on both channels. So it's not like it's a regional game. One's on ESPN, one's ABC. You got the back button of your remote. Just hit back every few minutes.
It's not hard. Or get 2 TVs. Like, that's not that hard either. Like, you can watch 2 now with the screens and the this and the that. Who watches one screen anymore? I don't know. I've been in books and risk rooms forever. It's hard for me to watch one screen. I actually really enjoy it when there's only one game on at a time and I can actually just watch one thing, because I've been watching too many things. You get distracted all the time.
Really quick before I let you go, what was the vibe with the Canelo fight on Saturday, him losing to Bivol?
Wow. I mean, and I'm going to talk to Peralta about this on Bostonian versus the book here, but like, that was, I don't want to say a gigantic upset, but I mean, him losing a fight on a decision here is on Cinco de Mayo weekend. I mean, it was what did it close? Minus 490, minus $5. I mean, and I thought Canelo by decision was an easy bet, minus 140. So I'm going to rewatch. I haven't seen the fight yet. I've only seen, the reports and talked to a couple people about it. But he won pretty handily, and the cards maybe didn't indicate that he won as handily as he did. So I think it must have been that obvious that they couldn't even give Canelo a draw and keep his marketability, whatever it is that these boxers get, alive. But it's big. I mean, there was a buzz. There was a buzz in town. There's always a buzz in town when Canelo fights. And him fighting and losing, we'll see the ramifications the next time he fights in town.
Dave Sharapan, you can find him on Twitter, Sportsbook Consig. Always great joining me and us here on the Daily Insider. I say us, the audience. It's just me. I'm talking to him, but just us. And Dave, we'll talk to you again next Monday, and we'll have more Stanley Cup to look at. We'll see where these series end up, and we get to, I guess, the Elite 8 of the Stanley Cup. I guess we call it that.
Hopefully, your Florida Panthers will be in it. I'll
let you know after tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, I know
they
where to
win
find
tonight.
You.
We'll see them there probably. You got 2 wins at home you can get. You lose tonight, forget it.
Can't win 3 in a row.
That means you got to win on the road. You haven't won on the road yet.
They can win a game on the road. They just have to win 3 in a row. That's the tough part. Well, if not, your team will be out of it. My adopted team here in Vegas is already out of it. Hopefully my Penguins are still in it. Otherwise, we'll be in full baseball mode, Kevin.
Brubaker mode.
Oh, please.
P-Rats.
I'll talk to you later.
I'll see you next week. Take it easy.
All right. See you, bro.
There's Dave Sharapan. Always good talking to him. And we'll see what the old Panteros do tonight. I mean, look, they need to win one on the road somewhere down the line, because right now, with them being in a 2-1 hole, obviously they win tonight in DC. You get the road win, and then it's a best of 3. You get 2 at home and 1 on the road. You get 3 shots to win 2. You lose tonight, you got 3 shots to win 3. You really got to go 3 for 3 at the end with 1 game on the road. That's the whole point of the home field, home ice advantage. Win your home games. They lost game 1 at home, so now you got to get 1 on the road. So we'll see what happens. I think if they win tonight, they will end up winning the series. It'd be hard for me to see them losing the series, tying it up at 2. They lose tonight, forget it. They're done. You see Barry Trotz, too. He forgot to mention that with Dave. Barry Trotz got fired as the head coach of the Islanders. And that's a tough one, because the Islanders had the new arena. They had a 13-game road trip out of the gate, which is tough for anybody. They had COVID issues, and they still made a nice comeback. Almost made the playoffs. Finished short, but made a nice comeback. He'll be coaching somewhere probably next year. There'll be a lot of opportunities in the NHL, so we'll see how that one turns out. All right, Sports Illustrated Sportsbook, sisportsbook.com. It's where you can find them. In the great state of Colorado, that is where you can bet with the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook. Must be 21 years or older to bet, and for new users only, get up to $300 in free bets. Deposit with the promo code AFF300. Full terms and conditions apply. Again, it is legal in Colorado. Check them out now. You can find lines anywhere in the country through this website. You can only bet in Colorado, but find them now, sisportsbook.com. Sports Illustrated Sportsbook. That's right. Go there today. All right, now let's take a quick look at baseball for the day and the night. Well, really the nighttime. A couple games getting underway now. But let's start. We just talked about Sharapan's Pirates, and they are facing the Dodgers. So good luck with that one. After LA steamrolled Chicago last night on national TV, Julio Urias and Jose Quintana on the mound in this one. LA a heavy favorite, and the Pirates back at home after they dropped 2 of 3 to the Reds. So Pittsburgh 11-16, still not terrible, but LA 19-7, and they continue to roll. Good luck for betting the Pirates in that one. So Cincinnati now 5-23. They're making a little bit of headway with a couple wins this weekend, and Luis Castillo takes the mound, his first start of the season. Now, the Reds are decimated, but more so with their pitching staff than their lineup. And Joey Votto was placed in the IL a little bit ago. There's still some guys that can hit in the lineup, but their pitching staff, no bueno. And Luis Castillo, at least, is the best arm they had. And Sonny Gray went to Minnesota in the offseason. There's not a lot there. But Castillo maybe can give him a shot every time he pitches. Problem is tonight, who they face, Milwaukee. And the Brewers just swept the Reds last week in Milwaukee. Brandon Woodruff gets the start for the Brewers. And this line has dropped, though, after Milwaukee opened up laying about 170 or so. And Milwaukee is still a heavy favorite, but we'll see if the Reds can somewhat stay a little bit hot. Now, 2 teams that are ice cold meet in Detroit tonight, the A's and the Tigers. Remember years ago, this was a playoff series, but not the case anymore. Oakland's 10-18, Detroit's 8-19. So let's get the tail of the tape here. Oakland has lost 9 straight. Detroit has dropped 8 of 10. The Tigers in Houston this weekend, they lose all 4 to the Astros. They scored a total of 6 runs. They lost 5-0 yesterday. Detroit is currently on a 5-game under streak, so they can't score. Oakland actually was pretty competitive with Minnesota. They lost 3 straight games by a run. The one thing I'll give I know the Tigers played the Astros, but the A's, they played Minnesota, Tampa Bay, got swept at home by Cleveland, was bad because the Guardians got swept by the Angels before that. But Oakland's offense, these are the A's now. After Oakland had a good start to the season, maybe the A's will be a surprise. No, these are the A's. And Detroit, a short favorite here. Michael Pineda on the mound for the Tigers. Paul Blackburn on for the A's. Good luck either way on this one. That's just a tough game to handicap because you have two teams just not playing well. So do you take the dog here with Oakland or think Detroit coming back home will play a little bit better? Guardians and the White Sox in Chicago. And both these teams hovering around the 500 mark. Cleveland at 14-14. They beat Toronto yesterday. Cleveland's actually played better. They won 3 of 4 against Toronto. The loss came with Shane Bieber on the mound. But they have won 7 of 8, Cleveland, while Chicago swept Boston. Before that, they swept the Cubs. They're riding a 6-game winning streak. So two of the hottest teams in baseball meeting up tonight. Zach Plesac and Michael Kopech on the mound this evening in Chicago. Zach Plesac, actually, if memory serves right, which it normally does, he has pitched well against the White Sox in his short career. He is coming off a pair of losses last 2 times out to the Padres and the Angels. But for Plesac, he did beat the White Sox earlier this year at home, 6-3 as a plus 130 dog. Last year against Chicago, picked up a no decision in a 5-3 victory against the White Sox. He had 5 2/3 scoreless innings. I remember the one bad one he had was against Carlos Rodon. He got lit up. I believe that was the no-hitter game. Rodon tossed the no-hitter 8-0 Chicago. White Sox had 6 in the first on Plesac, but he's bounced back and pitched better against Chicago. So White Sox, though, heavy favorite. Both teams playing very well there. The Rays stay out west after they had a walk-off loss to the Mariners yesterday, and Tampa Bay won 3 of 4 from Seattle. Now they go to Anaheim to face the Angels, and Noah Syndergaard on the mound for the Halos. They had that walk-off win against the Nationals yesterday. Tampa Bay 18-10, Angels at 18-11. So Angels playing better, and Tampa Bay had a 6-game winning streak snapped by Seattle. Angels have won 4 of 5. And for Syndergaard, he had his one start skipped against the White Sox. He was sick. And last time out, lost the Red Sox 4-0. Did go 7 innings and gave up 3 earned runs. He's allowed 7 earned runs in 4 starts. Angels 0-2 in his last 2 outings after he won the first 2. But he still has pitched pretty well for the Angels. A lot of late-night baseball this evening. Phillies and the Mariners from Seattle. Those 2 old rivals getting after it. Chris Flexen and Ranger Suarez on the mound. Flexen, he's 1-4 this year, but an ERA around 3. He's pitched well, just hasn't got a lot of run support, and the only wins did come at home against Kansas City. For Suarez, Phillies are 4-1 in his 5 starts, and his lone road start, they beat the Marlins. So 4 home starts, 1 road start for Ranger Suarez. And the Phillies at 3-7 on the road, coming off a doubleheader split against the Mets. So now flying cross country. Not exactly the best scenario. While Seattle stays at home, and Seattle off that 6-game skid now being snapped with the win yesterday. So the Mariners, they're a slight favorite. The Cubs heading out to San Diego to face the Padres. And Kyle Hendricks taking the mound for Chicago. Heavy dog against Mackenzie Gore and the Padres with that comeback win yesterday against the Marlins. Now, Hendricks, it's been an up and down season for him. 5.64 ERA. Started off well, but on the road, it's been miserable. He's allowed 6 earned runs in each of his 2 road starts at Milwaukee and at Pittsburgh. So we'll see if he turns around tonight against the Padres. And the Cubs, off that Sunday night loss to the Dodgers, now they had to fly out to San Diego. Mackenzie Gore, 2 starts ago, or his last start rather, against the Reds, 10 strikeouts. And one thing I'll say about him, he's faced the Reds twice, but also the Cubs aren't that great. The Marlins and the Diamondbacks, and the Marlins, they have struggled of late. They had won 7 straight, lost 6 straight, beat San Diego Saturday, then blew the 2-0 lead in the ninth yesterday to fall 3-2. during that 6-game skid, they got swept at home by Arizona. And the Diamondbacks were heavy dogs in a lot of those games. Now the Marlins are a short favorite here, starting this series, staying out west to face Arizona. Humberto Castellanos did beat the Marlins last week, like a plus 160, plus 170 dog. Now it's almost at even money for him. And Arizona at 15-14 after they took 2 of 3 from Colorado, should have swept Colorado. The Saturday game, they were up 1-0 in the ninth. Rockies got 4 in the ninth to beat them 4-1. But Arizona bounced back yesterday behind Zach Gallen. So Arizona above 500, Marlins below 500, but the Marlins a short favorite. And the final game of the night in Major League Baseball, the Giants and the Rockies. Both teams at 16-12, but obviously San Francisco, huge favorites tonight. Carlos Rodon and Austin Gomber on the mound. And for Gomber, he has been pretty good. I mean, decent. 26 strikeouts, 8 walks, ERA around 4. Has not had back-to-back wins this year, coming off a win over Washington his last time out. But for Gomber, 2 walks his last 3 starts, 4 earned runs he's allowed his last 3 starts. So he's pitched well. Now we'll see what he does here opposite Carlos Rodon, who lost his last start against the Dodgers, but Rodon's still pretty good, 1.55 ERA. He's got 3 wins, and he's allowed a total of 5 earned runs in 5 starts this year in his first year with the Giants. So Giants and Rockies play for the first time this season, and the Giants off back-to-back wins over the Cardinals after they had a 5-game losing streak. So that, thankfully for them, has gone away. So tomorrow, got plenty more to get to here on the Daily Insider. We'll review the Monday card and look ahead to Tuesday as well. So looking forward to that. And our thanks again to Dave Sharapan for joining us as he does every Monday to break everything down. And we'll be back with you coming up tomorrow at noon Eastern. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Vegas Insider. We would greatly appreciate it. I am Kevin Rogers. Thanks a lot for watching. And as always, best of luck with your bets.